Hello, my name is Leah. As you can see, I own lots of books. Definitely not as much as some, but still lots. More and more I have found myself looking at my bookshelf and at some of the books on them and thinking, why do I own that? So today, we're gonna be doing something that I probably should have done a long time ago, and that is a massive unhaul. Whenever I first started kind of collecting books more, I bought like every single book that I wanted to read, essentially, mainly just trying to fill up my shelves so that I could have like the big beautiful book background, not specifically for YouTube, but just so that I could have a shelf full of books in my bedroom. But my tastes have changed a lot. My priorities have changed a lot. I have learned since then that it is very difficult to move with boxes and boxes and boxes of books. They're very heavy, and I want to be able to just look at my shelves and love every single thing on it and not have to feel like, why do I own that still? So my plan is to go through every single shelf. There's some books over here on the square shelvings, and then we've got this one over here, and that's all of the books in this apartment other than the stuff I'm currently reading, which obviously I'm not going to be getting rid of. And I've given myself some criteria. One, I'm going to ask myself, did I love this book? If the answer is yes, I can keep it. Cool. If I didn't love it, is there some sort of sentimental value attached to this book? Not just did I get it as a gift, but do I genuinely have sentimental value attached to this book? If the answer is yes, cool. If the answer is no, I'll ask myself again, am I going to read this book or reread this book? Because if I don't love it and there's no sentimental attachment to it and I don't plan on reading it or rereading it, what is the purpose? There's no purpose in owning it other than just to fill up the shelf, which I don't want to do anymore. So that is my criteria. I'm going to go through every single shelf and ask myself that about every single book, and I will take you along the process. But first, I do actually have some books that I was planning on getting rid of like a few months ago. I just have been lazy and have not donated them yet, but I will go ahead and share those with you. The first is Legend by Marie Lu. I've had this for a while. I read this book and I read the second book in the series, but I never picked up the third and I've forgotten everything that happened since then. I don't plan on finishing the series, and because of that I don't plan on ever rereading this book again, so to a different store it goes. Next we have Shatter Me by Tahira Mafi. I have had this book and have been meaning to read it for so long, but I just haven't. I can't remember where I got it. There was a friend who was getting rid of a bunch of books. Anyways, I've had it for a while. Its time has come and gone. The hype is over. I just have so many other books that I would rather read, so we're gonna be getting rid of Shatter Me. Next we have The Winner's Curse by Marie Rutkowski. I don't know how to say the last name because I suck at pronouncing names. I read the whole thing in a couple days and I just wasn't a fan. I didn't really care for any of the characters, wasn't super engaged with the plot. I knew as soon as I finished it that I wasn't going to be continuing the series, but again, for some reason I just hung on to it forever because it was just another spine on the bookshelf that filled it up, but we don't need that anymore. Next we have Afterworlds, yes, by Scott Westerfield. I really enjoyed this book. I thought it was very fun. It just wasn't like an I love this book kind of thing. I don't think I'm ever going to reread it, and I feel like this would just be better in the hands of someone else rather than me holding on to it just to collect dust. Next we have Replica by Lauren Oliver. I pick up basically everything that Lauren Oliver writes. I haven't in a long time actually, so that's a lie. But for a while there I was down to read anything by Lauren Oliver. So I picked this up when it was fairly new. Just for me, this was another one where I liked it, I just didn't absolutely love it. I never ended up picking up the second in the series. I don't quite remember what this is about. Doesn't matter. I'm getting rid of it. The next book I'm getting rid of is Tales from the Shadowhunter Academy. I've been a big fan of the Shadowhunter books for a while, and I did really enjoy these short stories. I just figured I'd get rid of it because it is a thick book, and it's not really like one of the books, you know? It's just the short stories. And even though Simon is probably my favorite character out of the entire Shadowhunter universe, it's just not a super big priority. Also, you know, the cover, the spine, it's not really that pretty anyways, and I'd rather just have room on my shelf for other things. And then the last one that I'm going to talk about before I get to the shelves is 3 books actually, and that is the Iron Fae trilogy? Or maybe it's a series, I can't remember if there's more books than this. Here's the story with this one. I got this book in middle school because I was on a road trip with my family, I ran out of stuff to do, and I was probably being annoying, and so my mom bought me a book at Walmart while we were there. And this just happened to be the book that I picked out. I knew nothing about it, I hadn't heard anything about it, I just thought the cover was pretty, and I was like, cool, fairies, sounds good. Bought the next books like a few years later, so I reread this, and then started one of these, whichever one is number 2, I'm not sure, and then never picked it up again. And now I have no desire to read it at all, so I'm getting rid of it. Okay, now we will move on to the shelves and me making new decisions about what books I'm going to get rid of. This top shelf I'm ignoring because it's all of Cameron's textbooks from school. Hello, Goose. So we're just gonna skip that for now and probably skip all of this too because most of that is also Cameron's books. So we'll start here. I'm going to get rid of this copy of Jane Eyre. I absolutely love Jane Eyre. It's probably my favorite, like, classic, but she ugly. I would rather buy a nice, pretty hardcover of this at some point. So for now, I think I will be getting rid of this. This feels like a really weird book to have, and you're right, it is. This is one of those sentimental cases, though. Again, weird, I know. This was my souvenir from whenever my family went to the Grand Canyon, because for some reason I thought that the best souvenir was to read about how you can die at the Grand Canyon. So I'm keeping her. And then we've got this guy. My aunt got it for me when I graduated high school, and I got about a quarter of the way into it, and I haven't picked it up since. And I know for a fact I'm not going to read the rest of it, just because I'd rather read other things. I can't tell if this is a sentimental thing, or if it's just like, oh, it was a gift, so I feel obligated to keep it. You know? I'm gonna put it in the consider pile. Moving on to shelf number 2. I will squat while I do this and get a workout whilst handling the books. Here's the thing with the Shadowhunter books. There's a lot of them. I love them, but I also don't love them. You know what I mean? I haven't picked up the newest in the series, but I also feel like if I get rid of these, I will regret it. So I think I will keep the Shadowhunter books for now. However, they're hanging on not quite by a thread, but by a rope. That's a stupid analogy. Moving on. We have the Fifth Wave books. I think this one's a go. At the time, it was a like, but looking back, it's kind of just it was a book. It was good because it was the trendy thing to be good at the time. Warm Bodies wasn't anything special, but I do have a tad bit of nostalgia for it because it reminds me of an old friend, even though I don't talk to her anymore. Why is it so dark in here now? Alright, I'm gonna go set up a light because the clouds keep deciding to leave. Okay, I'm back with slightly better lighting. We loved these books back in the day, but they ain't good. If I'm going to keep any of them, I might keep the first, just for the nostalgia of it, but Allegiant was a hot mess. So we're gonna put these two in giveaway and this in the consider pile. Next we have a nonfiction section. I'm not gonna go through every single one of these books because that would take a very long time. From here this way is all of my writing or film books from school, and then from here this way is a bunch of Christian nonfiction books. I'm gonna go through these real quick and then show you the ones that I get rid of. Okay, so I ended up keeping most of those, which I'm not surprised by, especially these like writing and film ones. I definitely am going to be referencing most of these just in general. But I am getting rid of is first 30 Days to Understanding the Bible. This is kind of like a devotional slash workbook. I went through part of it in a Bible study that I was in like high school. We never finished it, but I skimmed through the rest, and pretty much all of this is stuff that I either know just from being in church or learned in my like Bible history classes and stuff like that in school, because I went to a Christian school for context. So I don't think I need this to learn anything actually. It's more of a introduction to certain things. I'm also going to be getting rid of creative writing, 4 genres in brief. It basically just covers poetry, short fiction, creative nonfiction, and plays as different genres and what they do. I didn't get much from it when I needed it for a class. This was a textbook, and I didn't get much from it, and I don't have any attachment to it, and I don't plan on reading it again, so. And then lastly, I'll be getting rid of sound design for my audio class in school, and I hated that class, so we're getting rid of the book. Alright, hello. I'm trying to be low now. This shelf is very self-explanatory. Sarah J. Maas. The Left Behind series. Here's the thing with these books, I'm not gonna read them again. Holy cow, that's a long series, and it was good, but also just fine, you know what I mean? However, technically, they're my grandma's books, not mine. So I either need to return them to her or keep them, because I feel like I can't make that call to get rid of them. And then we have Sarah J. Maas. I'm keeping all of those books, I think. I loved them, and my attitude on them might change in the future, but for now, I think we're okay. Definitely Throne of Glass, I have more of an attachment to than ACOTAR, although I don't plan on continuing the ACOTAR books that she is writing now. I was fine with the books as is, so I'm just not going to continue reading those. And then down below here we have my Rick Riordan books. I think I'm going to get rid of Magnus Chase just because I wasn't a huge fan of them whenever they came out. I was kind of meh on the first book, and then I started reading this one and just never got into it, so we'll let someone else have a shot at these. I really liked these, and I intentionally sought them out at a secondhand store to buy them, but I'm never gonna read them again. Not like Percy Jackson anyways, so I think I need to get rid of these two. And then we have The Lost Hero. I enjoyed the Heroes of Olympus series, didn't love it. Do I think I will ever reread these books? Probably not. Do I have sentimental value attached to them? Only because of the Percy Jackson series, I think. I'll put this in the consider pile. Next we have the Harry Potter books up here. Obviously I'm keeping these. This is all D&D stuff, so we'll just ignore that for now. Definitely keeping Luna Chronicles. Really enjoyed them. Definitely keeping Chronicles of Narnia. Definitely keeping In a Burn in the Ashes, and planning on getting the rest of the books as well. I still need to read this. We're keeping this. We're keeping this. I liked this book a lot, didn't love it, planned on reading the second book, but haven't gotten to it still. So I feel like this should go in the consider pile. Currently reading, loved, need to read and do plan on reading, absolutely loved, very excited to read Way of Kings, haven't read it yet. Getting rid of immediately. Why do I still have this book? I don't know. Didn't like it when I read it. I only bought it because it was hyped. Didn't plan on reading the series. The minute I finished, I was like, I never want to read this again. But I kept it. So goodbye. Hello, this is how I will be doing the bottom shelf. Vampire Academy. I have very lukewarm feelings about this series, so I'm just gonna be getting rid of these two books. What is this? A Walk to Remember. My friend Maddie gave this to me, and I do really like Nicholas Sparks. Or at least, I liked the books of his that I read in middle school. You know what? I feel like I should actually read this soon, because I haven't read a romance book in a while. And I know this one will probably make me cry, so I think I'll keep it. These two books are not related at all, but they're related in my mind because I got them at the Scholastic Book Fair in like 4th grade or something like that. I really enjoyed them both, but I don't think I'll ever read them again. However, I do have a bit of nostalgia attached to them. My question is, should I get rid of them so that another small child can read them and love them? Probably yes. Do I want to? Consider. We'll put this in the consider pile. I got this in a Scribbler, is that what it is? Yes. The writing subscription box. I got this in one of those and have been trying to convince myself that I will pick it up ever since, but I know I will not. I don't really read thrillers. Especially I don't read adult thrillers, so we're gonna get rid of it. I really liked Sarah Dessen back in the day, and I bought this one because it was pretty, but I don't remember anything from it, and I remember feeling kind of lukewarm about it when I finished it, so I think I'll get rid of this. Same thing with this. I bought this because Morgan Matson was hyped as a contemporary writer, and I did really like it, but I don't ever plan on reading it again, and I don't know, it's just not my jam. John Green. Oh, John Green. I think John Green is still barely hanging on by a thread in my mind. I have just enough nostalgia attached to him that I'll keep his books for a little while longer. This book is funny to me because I literally just found it browsing in Barnes & Noble, and then I saw that it was a Wattpad book. I had mad respect for Wattpad because I read a lot of stuff on Wattpad back in the day. So I was like, that's so cool. Someone wrote this on Wattpad and then got it published? I'll buy it. But it's just, it's a story. I don't remember anything from it. It was fun. I liked it, but it wasn't anything special. I love Kiera Cass, but I don't think I'm going to reread this book ever. And I like the selection more than I like this. So I think we'll get rid of this. I'll put it in consider. Why do I still own this book? Unsure, but we're getting rid of it now. These Guys by Rainbow Rowell I will keep though. I'm definitely keeping this one, and not just because I love Christine, but because I actually genuinely loved the book as well, which I kind of wasn't expecting to love. I kind of thought I would buy it and it would just be kind of a meh, like, yeah, but I wanted to support her kind of thing, you know what I mean? But it was actually genuinely good, and I'm actually excited about her next book. I just placed an order for that. So look at all these books. That's a lot of books. So now my bookshelves are a mess, and I probably have to reorganize them, but that is all of the books that I'm going to be getting. I forgot about these shelves. Okay, speed round. Okay, speed round is over. All of them are staying. That, I kind of expected that because those are like, you know, the ones that I'm looking at the most because they're right under the TV. Anyways, I feel very good and also like someone has stabbed me. I love books and I love collecting them, and it is definitely sad to see so many go, but if I'm being honest with myself, which is the whole purpose of this, I don't need those books. And I would much rather have a full or like sparsely full bookshelf of books that I love or that I'm planning on reading and that have some life in them in terms of them still giving me something, you know what I mean, than books that are just sitting on my shelf just for the sake of filling it up. Most of these I did enjoy, and so I think that donating them is going to help extend their life, give someone else a chance to read them, and even the ones that just weren't my cup of tea, you know, someone else will like them. Like Nevernight, for some reason, people like it. I didn't count them and I don't feel like doing that right now, so here's the number of books I'm getting rid of. If you come at me in the comments, I'm just gonna ignore you because this is my life and it's my bookshelf and I can do whatever the heck I want to with them. But anyways, thank you so much for watching and I will see you again soon. Bye.